Good morning, dear listeners. Well, Pundit, as you well know, is in partnership with Achtung Millwall, and every sale of the ultimate football trivia game benefits the Lions Food Hub. So before each show this season, we're going to try and give you an example question from this quiz game. It's a great game. The more questions you answer right, the more goals you score, and you can beat your opponent over a 45-minute or 90-minute period, if that's how you choose to play it. So I've got a question here for you, dear listeners. We'll put the answer at the end of the show. This is one just selected at random from the international section this week. We don't want to go international, we're going to go Euro at the Den. So pundit question, a Sampdoria icon who played alongside Vialli, Mancini and later Ruud Gullit at Sampdoria. This right winger played a crucial part in Sampdoria's only ever Serie A title. This home win saw them leapfrog Milan into top spot. He also played for Juventus, Crystal Palace and Lazio. So he's a right winger, played in the team containing Pagliuca, Vescovod, Manini, Lana, Katanic, Pari, Invernizzi, Dossena, Roberto Mancini, Gianluca Vialli and Mr. X, a right winger who played a crucial part in Sampdoria's only ever Serie A title. He also played for Juventus, Crystal Palace and Lazio. I haven't got a clue. I don't know much about Italian football. If you know the answer, then listen to the end of the show. I'll read it out. Visit punditgames.co.uk if you like this kind of stuff.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to a hot and muggy St Andrews, Birmingham. Welcome to the Championship Clash, 12:30 kick-off this afternoon. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening to Achtung Millwall, number one Mill podcast, of course. We are welcome to this Championship fixture between Birmingham City and Millwall. Just waiting for the two teams to come out.
They don't mean you.
So, dear listeners, where were you the night we nearly signed Keith Moore? I was sat at home, totally random Twitter rumour appeared, and for a few brief hours, I think we all fell for the idea that Keith Moore might be coming. As it is, two signings, Alan Campbell, Ryan Longman, both midfielders. Big debate online, obviously, as to whether we need yet more midfielders or not, or do we need a centre-back? Gary Rowett says we don't need a centre-back, we've got plenty. Naming such luminaries as obviously Jake Cooper, Sean Hutch, Wes Harding, Murray Wallace. There's a big team news this afternoon, dear listeners. No Joe Bryan, injured, who knows, don't travel up the M1, who knows. So Murray Wallace takes his place as a wing-back, I'm guessing, left wing-back. In goal, Sarkic, back line, Ryan Leonard, Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson. In front of them, Jill Saville, Billy Mitch, then Fleming, Tom Bradshaw, Kevin Nisbet. Here come the two teams' lines are in orange this afternoon. Flames leap into the air and a bunch of flamethrowers out there on the pitch. All very modern football, dear listeners. Blue plumes of smoke, fireworks. This game better match up. I think I'm with the travelling mill support there, dear listeners. What the fucking hell is that? That's what you call an entrance, dear listeners. Half the ground here is a building site. We're in the away end, which is called the Gil Merrick end. The side immediately to our right is called the Cop, and half of that is dug up at the moment. Looks like they're putting in some safe standing, judging by the far end of the pitch. The acrid smell of cordite wafts across, like a battlefield, like the Battle of Waterloo here. Not the most salubrious place in the world, but there we are. Neither South Birmingham, is it? Birmingham coming to today's game, pretty good form, third place in the Championship. Lions indifferent, I think. Shall we call it indifferent? I know we've made some signings. And we had a win last week, which I missed for the most part. Birmingham sitting third in the table, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Sarkic in a lurid Cerise outfit in goal. The Lions in the kind of railway workers orange, visible from a long way away. Let's hope for a decent start today. Gary Rowett pulled off a win last week, and he needs another good performance this afternoon. Personally, I think it's going to be a tough game. A point will be a good result here for me, listeners. Let's see what we get. A few American flags dotted around St Andrews this afternoon, which I think is in honour of the American ownership, Tom Brady, the Super Bowl, I don't know how many times winner, New England Patriots star. I am not in white, listeners. I am in stone, I think it was described as on my shirt. Mill going to be attacking the Tilton end, which is, I don't know, is that a home end? It must be a home end down there, mustn't it? Away from us in the away end in the first half, for instance. Good friendly relations, away we go. I missed last week's win, listeners. It's a blagger show last week, watching the condensed highlights on the official site. Look like we're clinging on somewhat for grim death towards the end. Here come Birmingham though, just past the minute mark. Down our left wing, ball in from the left side. That's going to go for a corner. No, goal kick. Big debate pre-match whether Zian Fleming looks happy or not. Personally, as I just said to Phil Clark behind me, I spent most of my working career not very happy, so still had to go in and do a job. So whether he's happy or not, for me is irrelevant. He needs to get on and show himself. I'm going to take it. That's what you think too, dear listeners. I'm judging I've got my finger on the pulse of the Millwall support in that opinion. Birmingham keep possession, dangerous on the left now, ball into the middle, volleyed high over the bar. Point after touchdown, just Mr. Brady. 4 minutes in. We'll win a free kick. Tom Bradshaw goes down, far down the far end. Saville, Fleming, Nisbet. Fleming's walked away. Kevin Nisbet takes shot on. 1-0 Millwall! He did it! The Lions lead it! Nisbet! Beautiful free kick. The goalkeeper got a hand to it. Ball flies in there. 1-0 Millwall! 5 minutes in. Well, there's a new string to his repertoire, dear listeners. A new string to his bow. A feather in his cap. Who knew he could do that? Move over Zian Fleming. New kid is in town. It's moments like this, after moaning about game management and applauding all the new rules that have come into football, listeners, that I now want game management solid for 90 minutes. Hypocritical. Birmingham now coming down the left again. They look to exploit this left side. Well wide. 10 minutes. Oh, ball breaks. This is Nisbet on the edge of the penalty area. Shot over the bar. Came out of nothing there. There's a loose ball from the Birmingham defence. He punts it over the bar from the D under attention from 2 defenders. And Birmingham now going down the left. Beat Billy inside the penalty area. Opportunity. He puts high over the bar. 3-shot on goal. Billy beaten badly there, listeners. If they jinked in from the left side, but it's over the bar though. This is Norton Cuffy breaking down the left. Switch sides, ball into the middle. Looks like Nisbet was pushed away, but the referee's giving nothing there. Birmingham breaking. While all the bants goes on into the penalty area, left side. Scuff shot. Sarkic takes well, dear listeners. Sacrilege. Oh, yeah. Some philosophical debates going on here, listeners.
so far. A couple of wayward shots over the bar for Birmingham, but other than that, it's been... Oh, that's a poor by Millwall. Other than that, we've done well. We've got ahead and we're containing them. You do get a sense that they can do better, though, this is. So, work still to be done. Birmingham free kick on the right, that halfway inside the middle half. Chance to put the ball into the action. It comes. It's headed by Zian Fleming, headed over from close range. Poor header by Zian Fleming, put into the danger zone, and the 5 headed over for Birmingham. It's going to go for a left-sided corner, Millwall. 19 minutes this one. Saville to take it. Cooper being manhandled. And it comes, it's a deep one. It's Ryan Leonard on the volley.
Oh, what a goal! What a fucking goal, listeners! Goal on the volley by Ryan Leonard direct to the corner. Fucking hell! Slammed home, slam dunk, 20 minutes. Lions lead at 2-0. I want to see the replay on that. Will they show it? Oh. Offside. Oh, what a little cunt. How so long after the event, the teams are reforming? Oh. Goal stolen from us, listeners. Well, too far for me to judge from here, dear listeners, I can tell you that much. But no one was talking about offside in the immediate aftermath of the goal. The referee gave it. It was a beautiful strike. Disallowed goal. There we are. Let's liven up the home fans, if nothing else. You'll have to tell me on your TVs how that offside that was. Isn't that still burns inside at the moment? I can tell you. Great tackling back by Kevin Nisbet there. Cuffy inside and Ryan Leonard clears it. Good work. 22 minutes halfway through the half. It's been pretty good by the Lions. Should be 2 ahead. It's 1-0 at the moment. Murray Wallace chases his man down on the left side. Great effort there. That's more like it, listeners. Game's become a bit scrappy last few minutes. Few wayward passes by both sides. 28 minutes. A little bit of attention to Sean Hutchinson. Looks like he's gone down. Substitution was being signalled for Sean Hutchinson. Will add fire to the huge online debate about whether we should or shouldn't have signed a centre-back. Harding coming in. They do a silly who when they announce the names, listeners. And yet more proof, if ever you wanted it, to be thankful you're a Millwall fan, not any other club. Anyway, back to the corner. It's floated in by Saville. It's a deep one. It's caught by Jake Cooper at the far post into the side netting. Lovely deft skills there. Billy Mitchell in midfield. Nice passing in. Back on the halfway line with all that niceness. And then put it into touch. All that niceness went to waste.
Every time, Millwall, come on!
George Evans back. Another departure gone to the FC Hollywood glamour of Wrexham. George Evans. And Vogie, of course, departed. Auf Wiedersehen, Vogie. It's gone to Hanover, 96. Didn't mind Vogie. I didn't mind George Evans, to be honest. Obviously, both became memes for poor players, but I don't think that was bad as a lot made them out to be. That's my humble opinion, listeners. I'm going to stick to it. We're making life awkward for Birmingham. They try and break forwards, but bodies between them and their forward runners. A couple of high shots. Apart from it, nothing much to report from the Brum viewpoint. Obviously, the huge talking point from the Lions would be that disallowed second goal. It's been a good overall performance for me. This is this bit now is trying to find Bradshaw 38 minutes, but just cut out of the last. Long ball for Zian, trying to find Tom Bradshaw. Been a bit nondescript for me, Zian Fleming in this first half. Nothing much to report from the Dutch superstar. Birmingham on the break now. Coming down our right. Into the penalty area, a moment of opportunity, block shot. Volleyed high over the bar. There was a moment where the goal seemed to open up for the 7.
as he ran into the right side of the box, but it falls to the 34 who volleyed it high over the bar, listeners. No danger there. Beautiful smell of curry, making me feel hungry. Curry.
That curry, yeah.
A little bit of restlessness amongst the home crowd. Birmingham have done very little in this game. A couple of high volleys and high shots, but nothing much to report from the Brum perspective. Keep talking about the Brum perspective, listeners. I've noticed I'm going to have to find a new expression for you. The Bawdsley viewpoint. Here they come down our right side. Last 60 seconds of the first half that Millwall should feel pretty comfortable about, but obviously don't want to concede. A little bit of mayhem there as ping pong between Jake and Murray Wallace. We do bring it away though.
Get to it!
Last few seconds of the half. This is Birmingham pressing forwards. Oh, penalty. Sarkic came out, clipped his ankle right at the very death. I thought it was a penalty in the moment, listeners. Poor challenge, Sarkic. A little bit of confusion with Jake, I think. And this will be an equaliser for Birmingham, totally undeserved at the death of the half. 7's going to take it. Sorry, excuse me, the 9's going to take it. Confusion between Jake and Sarkic. Let's just say that, listeners. Here we go. They saved it. Yes! Saved it! Great save, beautiful save. Down low, down to his right. Lions dodge a bullet. Blimey. It's not good for my heart, listeners. Well. There's the half-time whistle. Half-time, Millwall lead it, 1-0.
Achtung, Millwall.
Half-time, I'm talking to Sean Litchfield. Sean, that was a dramatic half of football, mate, wasn't it?
Well, it's typical Millwall to make it hard for themselves.
Ain't it
typical.
just?
Absolutely.
Big talking point, obviously, was that disallowed goal. Well, I mean, hard to tell, in all honesty, from our viewpoint, but took a long while for the offside to be given there, mate.
It took too bloody long, mate.
Yeah.
But I can't see who was interfering with play with a shot like that.
Beautiful strike by Leonard.
Great strike.
I think we've done all right, though. I mean, obviously, we've got the drama of the late penalty save there, but take that apart, I think we've made it awkward for them. They've not looked up to much at all.
No, I don't think they have. I don't think they've caused us too much trouble there. Bit of a blow-hutch going off, but good luck to the boy Harding when he's come on.
100%. Big second half to come,
yes,
mate.
very big, important.
Teams are out, listeners, for the second half. Lions will be attacking us in the away end in this second period. Big 45, it'd be a big win if we can pull this off. One or two comments online. Apparently, I was just speaking to Sean there, as you heard. Apparently, Cooper was in an offside position when that second goal, that would have been, went in. Hard to tell. I'll have to see it again. You almost certainly have seen it since this recording was made. Anyway, there we go. Game is underway.
Fleming off in the next 10 minutes.
Done nothing, has he?
Passenger, hasn't he? Whether he's got a lack of confidence, whether he's sulking.
I don't know, you can't spend too much time worrying about all that though. He's supposed to be...
Remember when Jed didn't get his move to Borough with Sav?
Yeah.
He had about a month of Jed sulking and not playing well, but he got over it and, and Fleming needs to do the same. But it shouldn't be too big that the manager can't say, actually, mate, I need a little bit more in there today.
Very anonymous. Very anonymous so far.
That Campbell would be perfect for today. We need... With Hutchov, I think we need more energy, more pressing further forward.
I hope you're listening, Gary Rowett. Thankfully, some of their passing has been awful the whole game so far, listeners. Long may that continue. Nice work there by White Harding again, listeners. So far, he's looking comfortable, replacing Hutch, obviously. It's a Birmingham throw, deep in our half, down by the right side corner flag. Insane smell of curry. I'm starving hungry at the moment, listeners. So, it's taunting. This is shot from the right side, shot across goal, one each, 28. Chance inside the penalty area, decent shot, gone in off the right side post. It's brought the stadium to life, if nothing else, because it was pretty flat in here up until that moment. The referee letting a lot go in middle now, in Birmingham's favour.
Get out, Wall! Get out!
Millwall getting pressed now, can see the throwing. 28 does well on the left. Chance to get the ball across. That's still bouncing around the middle there. We've been under a bit of pressure here, listeners. Oh, great shot and save there by Sarkic. 61 minutes. Lions clinging on. Ball in from the left again. That's deep. That's headed away. Mill not keeping the ball. We're clinging on for grim death, dear listeners. Personally, I would take off Fleming. He's not shown much. But who knows the mind of Gary Rowett, dear listeners. Lovely work, Ryan Leonard there. Winning possession, deep in their own half. That's a free kick for Millwall. Billy getting caught. Chance to slow things down a little bit. Catch our breath. Got through that period of pressure there. Somehow. Chance to send our men forwards now from this deep free kick just inside our own half. It's like Ryan Leonard to take it. We're going to launch it forward. There's Jake, Harding, Nisbet in the forward line. Fleming. Shot deflected, left-sided corner. As we look, right side as we play. In it comes. It's a deep one. Jake is free. He's back into the powered back into the 6-yard box. That's gone for a throw-in. Over by the left side corner flag. Harding to take. Looks like he may have a long throw on him. He does have a long throw. It's into Jake Cooper. Taken on the line by the goalkeeper. Decent long throw there by Wes Harding. This is the 9 now. Edge of the Mill penalty area. Shot high over the bar. 67 minutes halfway through the second half. We had a spell of intense pressure a few minutes ago, which we've managed to get through. It's 1 each at the moment. Still all to play for. I do feel like some changes are needed. I would personally be removing Izzy and Fleming, who's not shown me much in this game at all, to be honest, but we'll see. 69 minutes, in it comes. It's flicked on. Falls to Jules Saville. His penalty, his shot is on target, but the goalkeeper saves it on the line. No real power behind it. Scuffed it rather. Nice work. And this bit does a lot of work tracking back, listeners. That is a manager's dream. A dangerous looking forward, but he does do the work tracking back. A lot of praise for Kevin Nisbet. From my first, I did see him against Bristol, but that was I'm going to exclude that from my memory. I've expunged it. First real sight of him, I think, probably the best way to put it. Very impressed. Norton's coming into the box. He checks. It's in towards Bradshaw. It's just flicked away at the death there by the blue defender. The boys all action. I'm impressed with Norton Cuffey. Listeners, Brooke Norton Cuffey. A lot of effort being put in by the boys this afternoon. Looks like some changes. Nisbet coming out. Campbell and Longman, looks like, listeners. Strong resemblance between Alan Campbell and Jiri Scalak. It's almost like Jiri has been cloned. Looks like Danny Mack's in as well. Sorry, I must have missed that. I've been trying to get a signal to see who the substitutions were. Looks like Danny Mack's out there as well. Looks like Roman Esse's coming in. Jules Saville coming out. This is Birmingham on the left side. 1 minute of the 6, ball into the middle, across the face of the goal. Yeah, they won last week, I think, with a late goal. And Millwall have obviously conceded against Bristol to a late goal. So we need to stay switched on here, listeners. Goal kick as it is. Billy Mitch now lofts it back in. That's full time, dear listeners. Finishes 1 each, probably a fair result overall. Millwall at times in that second half were clinging on somewhat. Decent performance overall. Sean, decent performance for you, mate?
I think a fair result. We had the first half, they had the second.
Very much the second half, yeah. But no, I thought it was a decent fighting performance overall.
Exactly like last week, mate. We had the first half, they had the second. Today was exactly the same. Nice Good game of football.
Nice to see you again, Sean.
Good luck, mate.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back to the show, dear listeners. Joining me now to review yesterday's deserved point up there at St Andrews, in my opinion. We've got two stalwarts of the show. It's Matt Richards. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Morning, Nick.
And all the way from the south coast, somewhere on, like they used to say in the wartime, it's September the 3rd today, listeners, somewhere on the south coast of England. It's John Rankin.
Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Matt.
a mystery location.
Yeah.
Chaps, that was a hard fought game yesterday. I thought it was a bit of a microcosm of the season in a way. 'Cause there was good, bad, and indifferent all thrown into one game, which for me so far has summed up Millwall's start really. How did you see the game, John? Did you get a chance to watch it on screen yesterday?
Yeah, I did. Well, I was actually playing football. There you go. Yesterday morning. Yeah, believe it or not.
Just as I took a sip of coffee, listeners, John Springsby playing football.
I didn't see you, John.
Sprayed my apple with coffee.
Yeah, I got told I was too fat and had to improve on my fitness. So there you go. I mean, I said to my colleague, I said, "Well, you're telling me something I know anyway." So, but anyway, yeah. So we played football yesterday morning, walking football, old Bexillians,
right,
and then got back just in time to see the last 20, 30 minutes of the first half and the second half. So I don't feel completely qualified to talk about it because I tend to only ring in or do voicemails to games I actually go to live. But having said that, we did watch it all the way through, and I agree with you entirely. It was triumph. It was highs and lows. So on my little pad here, I've got highs, George Saville and Billy Mitchell. I've got, ticks against Wes Harding, obviously 2 massive ticks against Ryan Leonard, who was my man of the match. Outstanding performance. Look at it, look at his contribution. And also some tick. George Longman, I thought looked good when he came on. On the negatives, we're plagued by a lack of communication and leadership in our defence, and I would make George Saville or Ryan Leonard captain straight away. It would be a no-brainer for me because someone has got to marshal that defence, and I point towards the penalty. The indecision there between the lack of communication with Jake and the goalkeeper. There's a lot of that goes on, and I think, to be honest with you, our defence looked better with Hutchinson out and with Danny Mack out of it, to be honest with you. There you are.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I'd agree on that point particularly. I was quite impressed with Wes Harding. Matt, did you get a chance to see the game yesterday, mate?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
How did you see proceedings at St Andrews?
Yeah, it was a good point. We would have taken it before the start of the game. Birmingham started well, although I wasn't impressed by them at all. The amount of misplaced passes they're doing, awful, really. So you kind of start thinking, is it them being bad or was it us forcing them into errors? And I think it probably was in the first half, to be fair. But it was a hard 1 point. I think it is kind of we're kind of not there at the moment, kind of misfiring. We play in like 30-minute spells, and then suddenly we kind of we sit back a bit, or we get caught out, lacks of concentration, that kind of thing. It is a kind of average start to the season, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think we're mid-table, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We're 12th. 1-2, drawn 1, lost 2, which is middle for diddle. So yeah. Mid-table respectability. There's a few other clubs that might have expected better, but yeah.
Well, you look at Borough; they're awful, aren't they? But I mean, I think it's more about the performances. I think that points-wise, it's okay. I think because they're only like 3 points, I think, off top 6. I know it seems early to talk about playoffs, but it's only 3 points off top 6. But we haven't had a fluid performance, have we? A performance that we can kind of say end to end gets us off our seats and thinks, we've got a good team here and we could have a good season. I think that's where we're kind of stuck at the moment.
Yeah, it was interesting going up to St Andrews yesterday, which is a club in transition, I think probably be the cliched way you'd put it. They've got new ownership. They've clearly got American ownership. The fireworks and the flamethrowers as the two teams enter the pitch. You thought you're at the Coliseum for the Gladiator versus, his main rival or something. It was a bit over the top, but that they've invested in their side. I agree with you, Matt. I wasn't terribly impressed. The kind of struggle that I had driving back yesterday in my head was whether we made them look poor or whether they are actually poor. I think it's a bit of both, because I think we actually did make ourselves very awkward, particularly in the first half that we dominated. just looking at Gary Rowett's post-match comments here. He says we dominated the first half. Yes, we did. We scored a good goal to open the account. A shot from Kevin Nisbet, who knew he could hit free kicks like that. I think move over Zian. Got a new free kick taken out. And then we were very, very unlucky with the disallowed goal, which I still haven't seen back, listeners, since this morning. So I still don't know. I'm told Jake was offside. So
yeah, I think he was just.
Yeah. It just took a long while for that decision to come in. It seemed like a long while in real time. That there's this mystery post. People are using the word VAR have disallowed it. Whereas there is, to my knowledge, there's no VAR in the Championship, unless they're bringing it in for Millwall games only as a method of keeping us out of the Premier League. I don't know if if that's a conspiracy too far, John. I mean, I was intrigued by the VAR posts I saw.
No, it's not a conspiracy, Nick. You know, and I know, and Matt knows that's fact, right? You've only any Millwall supporter worth their salts who knows our history will know that
they don't want us at the top table.
The establishment hate us, mate. Anyway, back to I think for me the standout thing really is this system that Gary Rowett is playing requires a number 10 to make it work. Now, yesterday I think we made Birmingham look not as good as they could be because of three players. I think George Saville and Billy Mitchell broke up, dominated the midfield, did exactly what you would expect from those two. And you had Ryan Leonard behind them, who's competent on the ball, can take the ball. So the scenario is, George or Billy go in there, nick the ball. They can lay it back to Ryan Leonard, who is comfortable on the ball and doesn't fluff it and, panic, right? So, but what we're missing is we've got no wingers. We've got no dedicated wingers. We've got two wing backs, two front men. So, it's obvious to me you need a number 10 that is performing, looking for the ball, hungry for the ball, asking for the ball and moving it forward and getting his two front men playing. We haven't got that. That's the elephant in the room. Now, that's why, we could have won that game easily yesterday. And I think George Saville is, if you look at him, he's not happy with what's happening in front of him in terms of Zian Fleming, basically, I think.
Apparently, I was standing in the away end yesterday, and apparently, Matt, George Saville's dad walked past me. I didn't know it was George Saville's dad. And everyone said he always looks unhappy. George Saville's dad, I'm talking about. I don't know if George Saville was unhappy, but his dad always looks like he's got a face on as
he's always got like a hound dog look, isn't he, George Saville?
Hound dog. Yeah, he's nothing but a hound dog. I take John's point because we do the person wearing the number 10 shirt at the moment is I don't think it is Zian Fleming. I think it's someone masquerading as Zian Fleming. It doesn't look anything like the player we saw last season. No. That intrigues me because I know players get unsettled by transfer talk, Matt. But you got to get along with it. I mean, he's still earning decent money. He's still living in the greatest city in the world, in my opinion. He's got a pretty decent setup here. I know Burnley are in the Premier League, but life could be a lot worse for Zian. And if that's still playing on his mind, well, it needs to start to liven up a little bit because we saw nothing from him yesterday. And I make John's point about the need for more creativity in that position to be very, very valid because that was missing yesterday.
Yeah, and I think, but then I think it could be an overhang from the speculation, but he didn't have a great end to the season anyway, and that was before the speculation. No. So I think it's both part. I mean, his purple patch last year was just before Christmas, wasn't it? It run up to like Christmas, end of September up until like January, really, when you scored, all those goals. But he hasn't started well, and he's not undroppable. I think it'd be interesting to see what sort of player Campbell only came on for 10 minutes yesterday, didn't he? But I mean, Luton fans are raving over him, and I think he could be more of an attacking midfielder. He's not like a CDM, so he could be a bit of competition there for Zian. Also, I'm thinking Watmore as well. Watmore's, I know he's a bit more of an industrious kind of left-sided player, more of a forward, but what I've seen from Watmore is he does have an eye for a pass, and he can thread for passes through. I think he did that against Blackpool, didn't he? In the game towards the end of the season. So yeah, there should be. He's not undroppable, and I think it would be a good statement if whether Rowett would do it against Leeds. I don't know, because that's the next game. That's a big move to make, but I think he should be bringing him off with half an hour to go. He's not even taking him off with half an hour to go. And I think that is seeping through, and I think fans are right to question that, because you're right, John. It is a pivotal part of the team, and we're kind of he's going missing.
But yeah, John, I mean, I think the Zian Fleming question is very valid, because you've just rightly laid out the problem, and we're not getting really value for money from our Dutch superstar at the moment, mate, are we? I don't know what's going through his head at the minute.
Well, what's worrying me is if you actually just watch him. It's difficult to do in a football match, but I like to do it from time to time. Just watching what he's doing. He's hiding from the ball.
Yeah.
He can't be. No one can pass to him. It's something's gone wrong in his head. If you contrast the player, Rotherham, when he scored that absolute weldy off his left foot.
Yep.
Right. Billy Mitchell made the space, passed it inside. He cut inside, and Zian Fleming said himself it was his best career goal. That left footer at Rotherham. And then he scored that hat-trick at Preston North End. Contrast that with the player that me and Matt, I was standing next to Matt at Norwich, when he had acres of time in front of the goal, and he hit it with his left foot, and it was like I said to Matt, I said, not being funny, I literally could have done better than that myself, Matt. Right, and Matt said, yeah, so could I. It was like someone who hadn't played football before. Yeah. He just totally scuffed the ball. So, Now, the thing that worries me is there's been nothing to redeem him. There hasn't been a flash of brilliance.
No.
And you go, oh, well, we can forgive him all that. He's just created a beautiful goal. He's scored a fantastic goal. It's just consistent not showing up. If you watch him, he's not in a position. The last World Cup, I was watching that Anton Griezmann, right, who changed for France, who changed from a number 9 to a number 10.
Yeah.
And I was watching him, and you look at Messi and all these players, right? Any decent number 10, anyone can find them. They are, I'm here. They're always available.
Yeah.
They want the ball. They're hungry for the ball. The whole idea is that the aim of going forward is to play it through them. They are the playmaker. Yeah. They come and get the ball if they're not. Look at Mitrovic for Fulham. He's a number 9. But he used to get frustrated and drop deep and pick up the ball in the centre circle. And Harry Kane does the same as well. So he's not hungry for the ball. He's not looking for the ball. He's a waste of space at the moment. And I would bring in someone else, I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, Campbell came on yesterday, as we've all said. Matt, he looked like he needs a bit of fitness work. He looked like he could be in John's walking football team at times yesterday. But... there's work still to be done. But he is a decent player. He's come from a decent side, and as we've said, Luton fans aren't terribly happy about losing him. So competition for places, I think, is a great thing. I want to mention Brooke Norton-Cuffy, because I really like the look of this boy. And it was interesting when Danny Mack did come into the game, which was fairly late. Was it with 10 minutes or so to go, something like that? But he looked like he was enlivened from the Danny that we'd seen previously. So, competition for Zian won't be a bad thing. Hopefully, once Campbell gets himself sharp. And also want to mention Norton Cuff, because I think he's really given us something going down that right side. I like the look of him, Matt.
Definitely, Nick. I think he's still like quite a few of the players are. They're getting used to each other and how they play. But yeah, definitely coming forward. I mean, some of his touches, you can tell he's got a bit of quality there, which you'd expect from coming from Arsenal. I think it was in the second half he whipped a ball over, superb cross, but Nisbet and Bradshaw they didn't really they didn't gamble on it, and that's the kind of thing where he can do that, whereas probably they're not used to like Danny being able to get that sort of ball in. But once they get used to the fact they know what he's going to do, like as soon as he gets just first time bang. And if we had somebody chancing, then that could have been, a goal. So yeah, I'm infused by that. And yeah, Danny came on, did what Danny does. He never lacks for effort, does he? It's just
No,
it's just been with that final through ball, that final cross with Danny. That's always been the argument with Danny. But yeah, I mean, if that could spur him on to do better, then more's the same. Because I mean, that's great because we've got a few injuries with our defenders, so we do need to have defenders playing well.
I mean, no Joe Bryan yesterday. There was some speculation he's a bit like Dennis Bergkamp. He don't travel anywhere. He'll only play in within zones 1 and 2 of London or something, But fair play to Murray Wallace. I mean, I like Murray Wallace. He is forever has his limitations, but he's a very Millwall player, Murray. And yeah, you can point to some of the wayward passing at times yesterday, but for commitment and effort and sheer willingness to stand up and be counted when in a position that probably isn't his most comfortable, I can't see beyond him. But yeah, of course, quality. Joe Bryan's a quality player. But I just want to mention Murray yesterday. I thought he actually didn't do a bad job in that role.
Yeah, I agree. He came on and didn't make any howlers, which is what it's all about really in defence. It's being consistent and being solid.
Yeah.
Because you make a mistake up front and people go, "Oh, unlucky." Good effort. You make a mistake at the back, and people go, "You idiot!"
You're punished for your error.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And on that note, right, like George Long, right? Let's just mention George Long a little bit because our first goal, I don't think was particularly good. To be honest with you.
What the free kick?
If you look at it, yeah, I don't think it was particularly great.
Impressed me.
Impressed
me in a moment.
Well, yeah, it would do, wouldn't it? Because it's a kick. But when you actually look at it,
yeah,
right. He did a George Long, John Ruddy. It wasn't like in the top corner or anything like that. He just palmed it in the back of the net. He got a hand to
it. He seemed from the distance. It was the far end from where I was standing. So
yeah.
He seemed to get.
I'm not taking nothing wrong. It was a great goal, but the point I'm trying to make is if George Long had done that, he'd have been slaughtered.
Oh yeah, he would.
Absolutely slaughtered.
Ruddy was awful.
But John Ruddy, still a great goalkeeper. So I think, and that's why I mentioned it in respect to Murray Wallace. Because we're very quick to just slaughter people at Millwall, you go from hero to zero, don't you? In the flip of an eye. I mean, so, but yeah, I agree. And the other thing, I want to agree with what Matt just said there about we got a lot of new players there. Norton Cuffy, Longman, who look good.
Yeah,
Joe Bryan, and they've all got to learn how to play with each other.
Yeah.
It's so early days. Nisbet and Bradshaw, they've got to learn how to play with each other. The two players from Millwall that play really well together. Always Danny Mack and Billy Mitchell. You watch them; they link up because they came through, didn't they? Together, they're always looking for each other.
Yeah.
So you get these little partnerships in football, where you're under pressure and you look for the bloke you know. So that will develop in time, I think. And I'm sort of cautiously optimistic for Millwall. I think if we play the right sort of players, if Ryan Leonard can stay fit, and if Zian can sort his head out, I think we'll have a good chance.
Certainly the ingredients are there, Matt. I mean, I was saying at the ground yesterday, there was a brief surreal moment on Friday night where we were signing Kiefer Moore, and I think everyone went into a kind of a strange kind of twilight zone in their heads, and then of course reality bit, and it never happened. But I've got to take my hat off to James Berylson for the support he's given to Gary Rowett. I mean, we've made some decent signings. I know you can always say the squad is a bit lightweight, but we are Millwall at the end of the day. We are not Real Madrid, and this is still one of the better looking squads that I've seen in my time as a Millwall fan, and that's 50 plus years.
Absolutely.
So hats off to the support that Berylson's giving us.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Nick. I think you've got to think about this. It's all about budget, And I know people sometimes go, "Oh, yeah, budget. We've got to go for it." But we're right to stay a cautious, sustainable club. But we spent more money, more than we've ever done ever. We are gradually improving the squad. We've got a Scottish international up front. Denore used to be Belgian under-21. You've got Campbell, who's from a good Luton team. Brian, who's got Premier League experience. We are gradually improving the quality of the squad. Now, don't get me wrong, you've got the right tactics, you've got the right attitudes, application, etc., and you've got the right combination, and players, like we just said, need to understand how each other works.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, going back to James Berylson and the Berylson family, unbelievable support, and just still kind of can't believe how lucky we actually are, really, to have them as the owners of our club, really. So you're absolutely right. I think and they do. I think every Millwall fan understands that. It's it's a good position to be in. Yeah, it's a good position to be
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going into an international break now, chaps. So it's the first 5 fixtures of the season, and I suppose you can be picky and say it's been a mix of good, bad, and indifferent. But some tough ones coming ahead, John. I mean, it's Leeds next, isn't it? Which is a Sunday morning kick-off on the 17th of September. That'd be a TV game. And then, every fixture looks difficult, but Rotherham at home, West Brom away, and Swansea at home. So that's a big sequence of 4 fixtures there. We could do with a few wins. A few home wins would be nice, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's what concerns me, as it would do any Millwall supporter, our lack of form at home. And, it leaves me feeling very uneasy, the way we perform at home. And it's the same old all the time. So teams come, park the bus. We can't break them down because we're playing 5 at the back and we haven't got any creativity, and they nick a goal in the 94th minute like Bristol, like Nottingham Forest 2 years ago, even with that kid who's gone to Tottenham Hotspur for 47.5 mil. We were all over Notts Forest and Grabban, didn't he? Scored the goal right in the last look-ins. Same old, Huddersfield, on and on. So we at home, we do have to, go at teams.
Yeah.
We got to go at them.
We do.
And we got to have, if Zian Fleming ain't firing, mate, you don't start him. You put Roman Essay on, you put Duncan Watmore in there, you get those creatives going, because with Ryan Leonard and Jake Cooper and the wing backs, and the 2 CDMs, you got the platform there. You've got the platform. So we've just got to go for it and start performing at home, bring the crowd into play, show a bit of vigour and a bit of willingness, and it will sort itself out. But this playing technical football at the Den,
doesn't excite the masses. It's good support yesterday, incidentally, chaps. I was up there myself. I think it was about 930. I think I read, might have been just short of 1,000 on the day, but good support. Some interesting support for Gary Rowett. There was a chant that went up that his football was all right, which I thought was a very passive praise, isn't it? It's like on your annual report at work, Matt. That you're doing okay. It doesn't sound brilliant, but you're literally not completely.
Matt's a nice guy.
Competent.
Competent. Your football is competent.
Your football is competent.
But I love that after Norwich, because obviously he got pelters there, and then he had to dig back, obviously, after the Stoke game, didn't he? And then the fans coming back with you're all right. I think it's brilliant. What a way to superb.
I mean, it was all right yesterday because we didn't get beat, but I must admit that question marks remain over some of his choices. We seem to go a long way. I don't know, maybe fitness of Campbell, for example. Longman, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that dragged out the time where he makes the changes. But Johnny does seem to drag his heels when it comes to changing in-game tactics and, reshuffling the pack with players. He still has a horror of a creative, I think, because knowing Marku yesterday, I would have thought Marku's pace would have, maybe helped us press forward to win it. But I suppose Rowett's philosophy is you take the point and you go back down the M1, and that's good football, good football approach. So, how do you see Rowett at this early stage of the season? Is there still a gallows built in the car park, or is he out of the woods for you now? To mix my metaphor.
Well, no, but I would definitely, you can't. I think it's a matter of balance, isn't it? And
it comes to the wrong club if you're balance ranking.
Exactly. Just about to say that, but that's what it is. It's a matter of trying to be sensible about it, because what you can't do is give someone complete free rein to say, look, we're Millwall, we don't sack managers. You're here till you want to go. You can't do that.
No.
And at the same time, you can't sort of start, denigrating someone after 2 bad games. So my position is, I will stick to what I said like a couple of weeks ago. You put performance, measures on it. and you say we've got to see at home our next 3 home games, we've got to win 2. You know, or else questions are going to be asked, and you just take a sensible approach to it. It's football's a results business, right? We can all talk about Gary Rowett's lack of passion or all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's a results business, and you start. I think the chief exec and the ownership should start saying we've got to see, we've got to see improvement in the short term, or else you're not going to be sacked. But, we've got to see improvement, and we're going to start considering our options. Just like he brings players in to give Danny Mack a bit of competition, well, he needs a bit of competition as well. He's got to perform.
I mean, the huge debate, Matt, on Friday, prior to the sudden arrival in our consciousness of Kiefer Moore and then the equally swift departure. But there was a big debate which was illustrated yesterday. Why are we not looking for another centre-back? Gary Rowett's explanation is that we've got enough already. I've got to admit, I like the look of Wes Harding when he came in. I thought he did look competent. He did look solid. But the general response from Rowett was that you're managing your budget, you're managing your squad. We've got enough centre-backs as it is. Opinions will vary on that. How do you see it? I mean... Where do you see Rowett's position at the moment, Matt? I mean, is he safe? Is he on the gallows steps? Is he waiting to be shot off like a few dollars more or something?
I think he's always with with us as a club and especially saying the home form. I think he's only like a few defeats away from having serious question marks on Kavanagh, having to have a bit of a conversation with James Berylson. I mean, the Norwich, what happened at Norwich. You can say what you like about us being a club that doesn't sack managers, but if you've got home games and you've got the whole crowd shouting "row it out, your football shit," he's not going to last more than 2 or 3 games. No management could do that. So, I think. He's on tender. It's sensitive because to come back from the Norwich, we've got 4 points from 2 games, which is a good result. But we haven't really put in strong performances there. We've got Leeds now. Leeds is a great opportunity. You can go one or 2 ways. You would hope. I mean, if the players aren't up for that, and we haven't got, if we're not really going for it from the off because it'd be packed out, then question marks need to be asked then. So but we should get a good result. But I think he's only ever going to be three games away from potentially being sacked. It's getting like that. And he's been here a long time, Nick, isn't he? As well.
4 plus years now. Yeah.
And it kind of at the top. You kind of, even though the club's been backing him with money, you still think, well, come on. Sometimes you need a change of voice in the dressing room, don't you?
He's an escapologist. He reminds me of Harry Houdini, who used to get locked in a safe, Matt, and thrown into the water in Boston Harbour, and he'd get out because Gary Rowett gets himself into these pickles and then somehow gets dragged kicking and screaming to a more offensive attacking style, and then gradually bit by bit seems to revert back to 5 at the back, long ball diagonal hits for 50 yards. I don't know. He's very good at getting himself out of a hole, but then also jumping back in the hole again afterwards. So we'll see. John, I just want to say before we close, mate, we had 2 departures this week, which became slightly joke figures at the Den. I think rather unfairly. One was Andreas Vogelsam, who's left to, contract was terminated mutually, and he's gone back to Germany. I nearly said West Germany, listeners. That shows my age. He's gone back to Germany. Gone back to West Germany. I'm going to go with it. West Germany. To
Bernie Lift. Yeah.
via Douglas DC9. No, he's gone to Hanover, and also to FC Hollywood Wrexham. George Evans has left us and signed up with the Hollywood set in North Wales. Surreal situation. I mean, both were players. They weren't the best you'll ever have seen, John, but they weren't that bad as many made them out to be. How did you see both?
Well, I was always. I thought George Evans, came in for some unfair criticism because he didn't play that much.
No.
So how can you slaughter someone who doesn't hardly play?
Millwall fans don't need the truth. They need cartoon figures that you can hate without ever seeing them or knowing them as individuals.
Exactly. Yeah. And with Vogie, again, a bit of an enigma. We seem to pick these sort of players up. There's a player there, flashes of good stuff, like he scored a lovely goal at Watford away. and he smashed a penalty into the top corner at Reading.
Yeah, German style. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he had the right look about him, and he was a good percentage player, a Rowett player.
Yeah.
But I think Rowett did him an injustice in that, to my mind, he just looked like a traditional centre forward who would just, stay in the middle of the park and get himself in a position. And he obviously had a good right foot on him,
Yeah.
And I think Rowett played him all over the place, didn't he, really? He got 5 assists last year. So, again, I think he came in for some unfair criticism. But to be honest with you, good luck to him. Adios, and, thanks for your service to both of them, really.
Yeah.
Decent guys.
Auf Wiedersehen, Vogie.
Auf Wiedersehen, Pet, yeah.
And Yakida Jules Evans. I don't know what that means. I was thinking the other day, Matt, I know more. I actually know more Punjabi than I know Welsh. I actually know 0 Welsh. So there's something. So yeah, I mean, two depart. They both would probably, they've become memes, internet memes for
who's next? Who's next? This is like
next out the door.
Well, no, I was thinking about the dressing room. The players must look around and thinking, well, they've gone, thank God for that. But is it going to be me next? Who's going to be the kind of the scapegoat, the memes person? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I think Zian's in danger of falling into that. His descent from Dutch master to Greenwich Council painter and decorators on the way, isn't it? So there we are. Gentlemen, Sunday morning, I want to say thank you. I've taken enough of your time, though. I want to say big thank you, Matt Richards. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
No, great to be here, Nick. Good to see you.
And good to see you, John. Keep up with the walking football, mate. There's a place in the Mill side for you.
Well, yeah, that's what I dream about when I go to bed at night. Scoring a goal at the old Cold Blow Lane. And that's still, I still dream about the old thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And a huge thank you to all the voicemails that have been sent in this week. We're going to run those now at the end of the show. Big thank you to everyone who's contributed. To keep them coming. I do appreciate the contributions. And we'll be back after the Leeds game, which is that's a Sunday game, 17th. So we'll put a show out in the aftermath of whatever happens versus Leeds United. Until the next edition of Achtung Millwall, I want to say Arrivedeci Millwall listeners. Bye for now.
Hello?
You right, Nick? It's Sam, cartoonist for the Lion Roars. I wasn't expecting too much out of today's game, if I'm totally honest. I felt that last weekend's result might have just papered over the cracks in terms of the amount of chances we gave Stoke that they didn't take. Birmingham were on a decent run of form, and I thought it was going to be a tough afternoon for us. But the early goal from Nisbet definitely done us a favour. It silenced the crowd, and I think for the rest of that half, we controlled it without creating that much. Birmingham had the better opportunities, but like Stoke, they just didn't put them away. The penalty in the last minute of the first half could have been avoided. Cooper should have just put his laces through the ball and cleared it, regardless of whether he thought the keeper was coming or he got a shout. But luckily, it was a poor penalty, and keeper saved it, and Leonard was there to mop up and make sure that nobody stuck in the rebound, which epitomised Leonard's performance in that first half. In the second half, I just wonder whether, if we'd held out for another 5 minutes, whether the result would have been different, because I would imagine the crowd would have turned on Birmingham if we could have just held out that little bit longer, but we didn't, and it lifted the crowd. And like the first half, I think Birmingham controlled the second half all a bit huff and puff and didn't really worry us. And I think maybe we got into it maybe the last 10 minutes. The injury to Hutchinson was a bit of a blow, but Harding came on and looked like he'd been part of that side for years. He done really well, I think. Good at the back and decent up top as well with his throwing, so that was a positive. Norton Cuffy, I think, could prove to be Gary Rowett's best signing since he's been with us. He's a breath of fresh air, exactly what we needed down that right-hand side, and he seems to have built up a good understanding with Leonard, which is really good. Saville, again, he's just a typical Millwall player. Everything you want in a Millwall player, Saville, for me. Just excellent. Just gives it 100%. And, you know, if Hutchinson's going to be injured for a period of time, I would be inclined to give him the captain's armband as opposed to Cooper. Purely because when you watch other games, you see the captains of other teams always in the referee's ear. Very rarely do you see Cooper or Hutchinson doing that, but you see Saville doing it week in, week out. Whether that's because they're at the back and they can't get up if the decision's further up the field, I don't know, but I think he deserves to be captain, and I think he would be an excellent Millwall captain. But the standout player of the day is Ryan Leonard. I mean, he had it all today. He would have scored goal of the season if Cooper was a foot shorter as well. He seems to bring a calmness to the back line. His passing, his tackling, he's composed. He just had it all today, in my opinion. The worry is, how long is he going to be fit for, or how long till he gets an injury? Because he is a good player, but we just don't see enough of him. And if he could stay fit, injury free for a season, it would be like signing a new player. But yeah, on reflection, I'm happy with a point. I think it was fair. I would have took a point before the game, and I'm happy with a point. My worries in our side is that we don't create enough chances in open play. I couldn't see us scoring a second goal today if it wasn't for a set piece, whether that be a free kick or a corner, and that's a little bit concerning. The other concern is, again, we're giving teams too many opportunities to score, and between Stoke and Birmingham today and last weekend, if they'd put away the chances that they got, we would have been on another couple of hidings. We saw it from Reading. We saw it from Norwich. We've got to cut that out of our game. But Roland Leeds, eh? It's been a while.
Hi Nick, Matt Webb here. Just got back, 6 o'clock in the evening. Just got back from the trip to St Andrews. Well, on paper, a 1-1 draw against a Birmingham team that haven't lost yet this season. 3 wins and 1 draw out of their first 4 is a good result. So, you know, we didn't lose. It's always a positive. But we got a point out of it. So, something to work on. However, being there and watching the first half, particularly, I'm actually, well, as I say, I'm actually quite disappointed. Let's start with the lineups, or even one change because of Brian injured, but he stuck to the same formation. Brilliant. Stuck to the same formation that we started off against Stoke, and we attacked them from the start. Nisbet's free kick was absolutely world class. The boy is miles better than us, and he's going on to bigger and better things, which is exciting to have him in a Millwall shirt at the moment. Then the second half, we just let's rewind that a bit, man. As I said, the first half was really good, really played really well. We were first to the ball, we were quick, our energy was high, our intensity was high, and you know, we should have been a bit more clinical and we should have had a lot more. Then 2 key moments. One is obviously the injury to Sean Hutchinson. Now, I don't know why we did not get another centre half on deadline day. We now lost Hutch possibly for a few weeks. We don't know. I mean, it's a blessing there's an international break, but all we've got now is Harding and Danny Mack, who were on the bench at the time, and Harding came on. All it takes is another one of the centre halves, i.e., let's say Leonard, for argument's sake, because his injury record is not brilliant, to go down, and then we do have a crisis at the back. So, you know, Who knows how long Hutch is out for, but I think this was the reason why we should have gone in for another centre-half. Then there was the penalty. Listen, it was a silly challenge by Sarkic. His decision-making there to go down at the player who was actually going away from the goal was silly. However, there was a break. You could see there was a breakdown in communication. Cooper had him covered whilst he was moving away from the ball and took a step back as soon as he saw Sarkic coming out. And I don't know whether he made contact or not. Who knows? But from the referee's vision, he pointed to the spot. On the flip side, he redeemed himself by an absolute excellent penalty save. So, well done, but get your decision making right. That's all I'm going to say. Then the disallowed goal, which obviously I'm going to watch tonight. So, I mean, if Cooper didn't headed it, I don't know if that was going in or not from Leonard, but what a strike. But then the second half came, and we all knew that Birmingham would have come out. They came out early at half time, so they obviously got a bollocking from their manager, and yeah, we just sort of like were a bit, slow from the offset. But my problem is, Nick, and I'll try and be as brief as possible. The subs, I just don't get the subs. I really don't. Today, again, I thought Fleming was not as productive as he normally is, not as the Fleming that we all had from last year. Is it because other teams have found him out? Is it because he didn't have his big money move to Burnley? Who knows? But it's as if he had to keep him on for a purpose. And I just didn't get that one. Second one was, for me, taking Savlov, which for me was an absolute ridiculous decision, because of the fact that he was the only one who was putting his foot in that midfield, in my opinion. He was working hard, tirelessly, being energetic. And for the love that we have for Billy Mitchell, the man can't defend. The man cannot defend. Unfortunately, he can't defend. And, there was times where the players got round him and got done easily. I don't know whether it's a confidence thing or something that he's just been out-coached. I don't know. But he should have been taken off today. And, but he stayed on. Then he goes for I'm happy with the result. I'll take the striker off and play one with sort of Fleming behind to be a sort of like a part-time number 2 up top. But really and truthfully, he's the one that's tucked behind it. And I think he's very frustrating. But the thing is, he's also being very predictable in it. So, So for me, yes, all right, I'll take a point at St Andrews. It's a shithole of a ground. It's a nightmare getting home. But listen, we didn't lose. And as the chants were, Gary Rowett, your football was all right, albeit for just 45 minutes. So we have a nice little break now. And, hopefully the injuries will not be too serious. And those who are out could be more fitter and stronger. And we look forward to Leeds United at home. Come on, you Lions.
Hi Nick, Jim, just ringing in after the Birmingham game. Well-earned point, I thought, today. I thought we had the best of the first half and they had the best of the second half, and the draw was about right. Personally, I was a little bit worried about the game. I thought Birmingham's start to the season, they looked like they were quite quick on the attack and they might pull us to pieces at the back. But to be fair, even when Hutch went off, I thought Harding, special mention to him. Thought he had a very good game in the centre when he came on. And a little bit of credit to Rowett today. I actually thought the subs changed the sort of the flow in the second half. It was looking like it was just Birmingham attack after attack, sort of the first 20-25 minutes. But I thought Longman came on and just he looked quite good on that left-hand side, to be fair. At one point, I thought we probably had too many midfielders on. But we've got a lot of midfielders at the club now, so maybe that's the way we're going to go. Thought George Saville did his normal coaching, as he does on the pitch, and trying to tell the players to pull their socks up a couple of times. But overall, I thought a point was about right. Glad the international break, although be it early, we've only played 5 games, but actually for us it's probably just about come at the right time. It hopefully means that these little niggling injuries that Denor and Brian have got, and obviously we don't know about Hutch, what's gone on there, but hopefully we can get those two back, because I think those two players are key for us. I think Denore needs to come in for Mitchell, and Brian obviously is the best left wing back at the club, so hopefully they'll be fit for the next game. A big on that one. Leeds, always a big game down at the Den, so pleased with the point today. Come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
The answer to today's pundit question, dear listeners, is Adriano. He played for Juventus, Crystal Palace and Lazio. Visit punditgames.co.uk for more details on to how to buy a pundit game. Every sale benefits the Lions Food Hub. Thank you for listening. Arrivedeci Millwall. Bye for now.